Again? The Roo from Waterloo is injured again? Obviously, this is bad news for the Indiana Felines, who were absolutely dominated in the fourth quarter last night against the LA Sparkles. The Sparkles are known as the worst basketball team in Los Angeles in both the categories of real basketball and pretend basketball. The Sparkles would be considered the worst team in the WNBA dump, but fortunately for Kelsey the Plumber, the lovely face that you see on those catchy Roto-Rooter commercials, drop in a toxic tutor, but the toilet is neutered, call Kelsey from Roto-Rooter. Fortunately for Kelsey Plum, the Sparkles, they don't have to worry about being the worst team in the WNBA. She can always rely on Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado to occupy the Bruise Caboose. Last night, Caitlin Clark missed, I believe it's her 6th game of the season. Earlier this month, she missed 5 games due to a quad strain. Now, Caitlin Clark is dealing with a groin injury. Obviously, this should be concerning for the Indiana Felines. It's tough to win games when you don't have your best player. But this should be very concerning for the entire WNBA. Before the season, I was told that financial expectations were adjusted for the WNBA. For the first time ever, the diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, she was expecting to generate profit. Now, it might only be a peso. It might only be an Ethiopian breadcrumb. Hell, at this point, a Vietnamese dong would be acceptable. But even with Caitlin Clark missing significant time, I would assume that the WNBA is still on track to make pesos, which is great. That's great. But if that happens, there's going to be an expectation to maintain it. There will be an expectation to figure out a way to turn this monetized turd into actual dollars. It's kind of hard to do that when the only star in your league is constantly on the bench. And one of the potential reasons that she's constantly on the bench is because of the increased physicality that she's forced to deal with every time she's on the court. We have already seen what happens when Caitlin Clark disappears from the WNBA. Ratings decline 55%. Tickets for games that were moved to NBA arenas anticipating the demand to see Caitlin Clark. Those tickets, they were being sold for a supersized Frank and a side of beans. Even though Angel Reese was playing, the same Angel Reese that the mainstream media keeps telling us is a huge star. Even though the self-proclaimed Barbie was playing, tickets were still selling for $3. Why? Because the only player capable of selling tickets was injured. For some reason, Kat Engelbert refuses to address this problem. The Dump Diva refuses to protect her only asset. But Uncle Casey isn't too concerned with Caitlin Clark physically. I'm starting to get a little more concerned for Caitlin Clark mentally. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Sugar Mountain Trading. Are you struggling with back problems? Do you deal with minor aches and pains throughout your day and you don't want to go to the doctor because all the doctor's going to do is find something else wrong with you, or even worse, prescribe addictive medication that you just don't want to take? I hate going to the doctor. So does my wife, who actually deals with back pain. That's why she started using CBD lotion and oil from Sugar Mountain Trading. Now, this is not THC. It's not going to make you fail a drug test. These CBD lotions and oils, they are specifically designed for rapid pain relief. Like I said, my wife deals with nagging back pain from time to time. Tried over-the-counter stuff, the chiropractor, but none of that ever seemed to work. Within 5 minutes of me applying CBD lotion from Sugar Mountain Trading, her pain was gone. I'm telling you, it's damn near magical. I just sent a complimentary bottle to one of my channel members. He said the exact same thing. Sugar Mountain Trading also offers CBD bar soap that will keep you pain-free and smelling fresh at the same time. Bar soap comes in a variety of scents ranging from lavender all the way to cherry almond. More importantly, All CBD products offered at Sugar Mountain Trading, 100% natural, 100% free of THC. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL20, BTL20. Save 20% off your first purchase with Sugar Mountain Trading. You know, 2025 has been a difficult year for a lot of content creators here on YouTube. Reaction channels, creators who take individual songs and they break down the lyrics, they are in a full-blown panic right now. Universal Music Group, which I believe is the largest record label in the world, UMG is threatening to destroy the entire industry of reaction channels. Men and women who have spent years building their platforms, years promoting artists and benefiting record labels, they are literally at risk of disappearing overnight. Commentary channels, we've seen our numbers decline. Me personally, I am down 1 million views this month when compared to June 2023 and June 2024. All of my other metrics are good. You guys do a phenomenal job showing up for me every day, but for some reason, impressions seem to have been throttled. It's not just a me problem, it's happening to a lot of us. Meanwhile, we have lazy assholes ripping our content and claiming it as their own. This has been going on for months now, and after a while, it can drain on you mentally. Videos that used to generate 100, 200,000 views, they're generating 30, 40,000. You go from averaging 40 to 50,000 views a video to averaging 15, 20,000. There's no one to talk about it with, at least in your personal life, because no one can relate. When you do talk to them about it, they'll say things like, well, you're still making great money. Yeah, but it's not about the money. Believe it or not, money is not a cure-all. I don't look at my bank account and say, yippee! All of my problems have magically disappeared. It can be a mental grind, and for the most part, content creators are dealing with it by themselves. There's no 800 number to call at YouTube. There's no one to call and ask, can you explain what's going on with my channels? All you can do is push through it and keep going. It sounds simple, but it can be extremely tough at times. Now, take that real life scenario, multiply it times 1,000. That is what Caitlin Clark has been going through for the last 2 years. When I was 22 years old, my biggest problem, my biggest concern, it was my college courses interfering with my social life. At 22 years old, Caitlin Clark was given the responsibility of saving a dying league. She was responsible for turning this unmonetizable turd into something that could actually generate profit. People seem to forget. The Indiana Felines, they were on life support. This franchise was throwing away money faster than lonely men at singles night at Club Shay Shay. 2022, the Felines averaged 1,800 people a game. 2023, just over 4,000. Now, they are selling out NBA arenas, both home and on the road. Caitlin Clark has elevated the entire league. And what does she get in return? How do dump divers in the WNBA show their appreciation? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Was AJ Wilson, but my name is Asia.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Was AJ Wilson getting shoe deals before Caitlin Clark elevated the dump? Were networks clamoring for WNBA games before Caitlin Clark entered the league? Was the WNBA even being discussed in the mainstream on a national level? I remember when I started talking about the WNBA 4 years ago, no one was talking about this league. Every once in a while, the mainstream media, they would try to convince us that these elite athletes are amazing. But other than that, no one was talking about pretend basketball. Caitlin Clark achieved the impossible. She did what hundreds, maybe even thousands of players who came before her never came close to doing. Caitlin Clark made the WNBA relevant. And what does she get in return? She's constantly criticized by the media. So-called experts like Monica McDougal or Shanae Agwu-Mike at ESPN, they go out of their way to discredit her. Her colleagues in the WNBA, who should appreciate her, they shove her from behind, they poke her in the eyes, they're overly physical, which might be why she's dealing with these minor injuries. Meanwhile, the WNBA, they refuse to address the problem. Our league has always been physical. Most of our players really enjoy it. Then you have Angel Reese trying to take credit for what Caitlin Clark has accomplished. I'm the reason people are watching pretend basketball. Who has dozens of aliases that she gave to herself? This girl, who mesmerizes family and friends with unathletic helicopter layups that become souvenirs for Mama Reese in the front row. This girl, I will go down in history as the woman who saved the WNBA. According to USA Today, the groin injury might not be the only reason that Caitlin Clark did not play last night. Indiana could have made this decision in an effort to prevent Caitlin Clark from losing her confidence. She's been in a slump lately. If you look at her stat line, it resembles the stat line that you would see with Angel Reese. It's entirely possible that the felines are concerned about Caitlin Clark. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. But after a while, I would imagine the constant criticism, the constant physicality, the lack of appreciation, I would imagine that it's mentally draining. And look, I'm not one of those people who thinks Caitlin Clark is always the victim. Sometimes she brings some of this on herself. Sometimes. But it has got to be mentally draining. It has got to get old after a while. You elevate a league that no one cares about. You revolutionize the sport of women's basketball. And how does the league show their appreciation? They give you a minimum wage salary along with a shit sandwich, which turns into a knuckle sandwich as soon as the game starts. Give me your thoughts on this. The lack of appreciation, the increased physicality, the constant criticism. Is it starting to have an effect on Caitlin Clark? Is this cause for concern? You tell me. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.